History is shaped by brilliance, ambition, and sometimes, by the cruelest twists of fate. We remember empires and icons but often overlook how a single moment, a mechanical failure, a distraction, can change everything. The automobile, symbol of freedom and progress, has also been the silent arbiter of some of history's most poignant tragedies. In an instant, it can turn promise into loss, leaving behind a void that echoes through time. Today, we explore the lives of those at the pinnacle, royalty, artists, innovators, whose journeys ended not by design but by chance on the open road. These are not just tales of celebrity demise, but reminders of the delicate interplay between ambition and fate. Let us look at the legacies they left, and the futures lost in a fleeting violent instant. Astrid of Sweden, who became Queen of the Belgians, was beloved for her warmth and compassion. She brought a modern, human touch to royalty, connecting deeply with her people. Her reign was brief but transformative, symbolizing hope for a nation still healing from war. In August 1935, while vacationing in Switzerland, a moment's distraction changed everything. King Leopold, at the wheel, glanced at a map Astrid held. The car veered off a winding road, crashing into a tree. Queen Astrid was killed instantly. The king survived, but Belgium was plunged into mourning. At just 29, her life and promise were cut short. The image of a grieving king and motherless children became a national symbol of loss. Astrid's legacy endures not in treaties, but in the love and compassion she inspired. Her story is a poignant reminder of how swiftly fate can alter history. Diogo Jotta, a rising star in European football, dazzled fans with his speed and skill. His journey from Portugal's youth leagues to the elite clubs was marked by relentless dedication and artistry on the pitch. The road, a constant companion for athletes, became the setting for tragedy. One night, away from the stadium lights, a violent collision ended his life and career in an instant. The football world was stunned. Teammates, rivals, and fans united in grief. Jotta's legacy is one of unfulfilled promise, a brilliant talent lost too soon. The goals, the victories, the inspiration he would have provided, all vanished in a moment. His story is a haunting question of what might have been. Sometimes destiny is decided not on the field but on the asphalt. Diana, Princess of Wales, redefined royalty with her empathy and activism. She championed causes from AIDS awareness to landmine bans, using her platform for real change. But her global fame came at a steep price: relentless media pursuit and loss of privacy. On August 31, 1997, fleeing paparazzi in Paris, Diana's car crashed in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. The world awoke to the shocking news. The people's princess was gone. Grief swept across nations. Millions mourned a woman they felt they knew. Her death was more than an accident. It was the tragic end of a years-long chase. Diana's legacy is one of compassion, but her passing sparked a global reckoning with celebrity and privacy. Her story endures as a cautionary tale of fame's double-edged sword. Even icons are vulnerable to the caprice of fate. James Dean embodied the restless spirit of 1950s youth, brooding, rebellious, unforgettable. In just 3 films, he became a cultural icon, speaking to a generation's yearning for authenticity. Off-screen, his love for fast cars matched his intensity on camera. On September 30th, 1955, driving his Porsche Little Bastard to a race, Dean collided with another car on a California highway. The crash was catastrophic. Dean died at just 24. His death stunned fans and cemented his legend as the eternally young rebel. The image of Dean, frozen in time, became a mythic symbol of youth and loss. His story is a cautionary tale, freedom and risk forever intertwined. The twisted metal of his Porsche became as iconic as the man himself. Dean's legacy is one of brilliance, rebellion, and the tragic brevity of promise. Sometimes legends are born in the instant they are lost. Grace Kelly, the epitome of Hollywood elegance, left the silver screen to become Princess of Monaco. She embraced her new role with grace, becoming a beloved figure and devoted mother. Life in Monaco was idyllic, but the winding Riviera roads held hidden dangers. On September 13, 1982, while driving with her daughter, Grace suffered a stroke at the wheel. Their car plunged down a mountainside. Princess Stephanie survived, but Grace did not. The world mourned the loss of its fairy tale princess. Her final act was written not by Hollywood but by fate on a sunlit mountain road. Grace's legacy is one of poise, beauty, and a life that bridged fantasy and reality. Her story reminds us that even the most charmed lives are fragile. In the end, destiny can be as unpredictable as the roads we travel. Jane Mansfield, Hollywood's flamboyant blonde bombshell, was as savvy as she was glamorous. Her life was a whirlwind of fame, family, and constant travel. On June 29, 1967, after a nightclub show, Mansfield's car collided with a tractor trailer on a dark Mississippi highway. The crash was horrific. She and two others in the front seat died instantly, but her children in the back survived. The tragedy shocked the public and led to a major safety reform, the Mansfield bar on trailers. Mansfield's final moments became a catalyst for change, saving countless lives since. Her legacy is not just in Hollywood legend, but in the safety of every highway. Sometimes tragedy leaves behind a legacy of protection. Even in loss, lives can be saved. Sam Kinison, a preacher-turned-comedian, electrified audiences with his raw, unfiltered performances. His comedy was born from pain and rebellion, making him a rock and roll icon of the stand-up world. By the early 1990s, Kinison was finding peace. Newly married, sober, and optimistic. On April 10, 1992, driving to a show in Nevada, a drunk driver veered into his lane. The head-on collision was fatal. Kinison's final moments were surreal, as he seemed to converse with the beyond. He left the world not with a scream, but a whisper of acceptance. Kinison's story is a reminder that even the loudest voices can be silenced in an instant. His legacy endures in laughter and the raw honesty he brought to the stage. Sometimes the final act is the most profound. On a lonely desert highway, a comedy outlaw found peace. These stories are more than tales of untimely death, they are reminders of life's fragility and the randomness of fate. From queens to rebels, each left a mark, their legacies forever tinged with loss. The automobile, symbol of freedom, can also be a vessel of vulnerability. Their stories are etched into our memory not just for how they lived, but for how suddenly they were lost. Let us reflect on our own journeys and the preciousness of time. If these stories moved you, like and subscribe for more explorations into history's poignant crossroads. Thank you for joining us on this solemn journey. The roar of engines, the blur of color, the pulse of adrenaline, motorsport is a dance with destiny. Among the greatest, Ayrton Senna stands tall, a Brazilian icon, three-time world champion and a driver whose artistry behind the wheel became legend. His fierce rivalry with Alain Prost, his rain-soaked victories, and his relentless pursuit of perfection inspired millions. But on May 1, 1994, the world watched in horror as Senna's Williams car left the track at Imola. The crash was sudden, fatal, and sent shockwaves far beyond the racing world. Fans and fellow drivers wept not just for the loss of a champion, but for the loss of a soul whose passion redefined what it meant to race. Senna's story echoes that of other heroes lost to the circuit. Jim Clark, the Scottish maestro whose elegance on track masked the dangers he faced. Gilles Villeneuve, the fearless Canadian, electrified crowds with his daring and raw speed. And Roland Ratzenberger, whose own tragic death at Imola, just a day before Senna's, underscored the peril of the sport. Cinematic shots linger on flickering footage of their greatest moments: Senna's victory at Monaco, Clark's mastery at Indianapolis, Villeneuve's airborne duels, Ratzenberger's determined qualifying laps. Memorials bloom at the tracks where they fell, tributes left by fans who remember their courage and brilliance. These legends remind us that greatness often walks the edge of risk. Their legacies endure in improved safety, in the hearts of those they inspired, and in every child dreaming of the checkered flag. As the engines fade and the grandstands empty, their spirit remains, forever racing, forever remembered. From dust-choked country roads to glittering floodlit circuits, the story of motorsport is a journey through time, one of fearless pioneers, relentless innovation, and the unbreakable bond between man and machine. The earliest days were raw and untamed. At the turn of the 20th century, men like Camille Janozzi and Barney Oldfield chased speed records across open fields and winding boulevards. Their machines were little more than carriages with engines, fragile, roaring, and unpredictable. Europe became the cradle of competition. The first Grand Prix cars thundered through Le Mans and Monza, piloted by daring souls such as Tazio Nuvolari, the Flying Mantuan, whose courage and cunning made him a legend. Across the Atlantic, the Brickyard of Indianapolis hosted its first 500-mile race, where Ray Horone's Marmon Wasp, with its revolutionary rearview mirror, crossed the finish line in 1911, forever changing the face of racing. Through decades of war and peace, motorsport adapted and evolved. The post-war era brought new heroes: Juan Manuel Fangio, the Argentine master, whose grace and precision captivated fans from Buenos Aires to Berlin. Stirling Moss, the British virtuoso, chased victory with sportsmanship and skill, often in cars that were works of art as much as feats of engineering. In Japan, Kunimitsu Takahashi blazed a trail for Asian drivers, inspiring a generation to dream beyond borders. As technology leaped forward, so did the complexity of the sport. Engines grew more powerful, aerodynamics transformed cars into missiles, and tire compounds became the alchemy of grip and speed. The unsung heroes, engineers, pit crews, and designers labored in the shadows, their innovations pushing the limits of possibility. The Ford GT40's conquest of Le Mans, the rise of turbocharged monsters in the 1980s, and the electric revolution of today all bear their fingerprints. But progress came at a cost. Tragedy stalked the circuits, famously at Le Mans in 1955, where disaster changed safety forever. The loss of drivers like Peter Collins, Tom Price, and Maria Teresa de Filippis, the first woman to race in Formula One, underscored the price of glory. Each loss spurred advancements: fireproof suits, crash barriers, HANS devices, and the life-saving halo. Motorsport's reach now spans the globe, from the deserts of Dakar to the neon streets of Singapore, from the frozen lakes of Scandinavia to the high banks of Daytona. Champions like Lewis Hamilton, the first black driver to win a Formula One title, and Danica Patrick, who shattered gender barriers in IndyCar and NASCAR, stand on the shoulders of those who came before. Beyond the track, racing's influence pulses through society. It inspires innovation in safety and efficiency, fuels the dreams of the next generation, and unites fans across cultures and continents. The thrill of the chase, the agony of loss, and the ecstasy of victory, these moments bind us in a shared human experience. The spirit of motorsport is more than speed. It is resilience in the face of adversity, the pursuit of perfection, and the courage to risk everything for a fleeting moment of glory. It is a living legacy, written in tire marks on tarmac, in the roar of engines past and present, and in the hearts of those who dare to dream. As the wheels of time spin ever forward, motorsport endures, evolving, inspiring, and reminding us that the greatest journeys are those taken at full throttle, with eyes fixed on the horizon and hope burning in the soul.